taken in Beacon Hill as well. Starting point, as you can see behind me there, is West Meon. Just parked up at the side of the road there, plenty of parking around. We'll be doing Beacon Hill first, and then over to Old Winchester Hill. We're going to be heading up the Monarchs Way, which is a 625-mile route in its entirety, and then across the top from Beacon Hill to Old Winchester Hill along the South Downs Way, and then returning back to West Meon along the Meon Valley Trail. Lovely walk in Hampshire, this one, taking in 3 trails that are really popular in the area. Just looking at that sun trying to break through there. Apparently we're in a period of time of being in a Scandinavian high, which means it's very gloomy. The high pressure sits obviously from Scandinavia, and none of our usual Atlantic weather can push it out of the way. So it is very gloomy and cold because the winds that come in are from the North Sea. So for the whole of February so far, we've actually had 30% of the sunshine that we would normally get for this time of year. The only good thing is, in general, it's a bit drier, but cold. We're just walking through one of these little hamlets. It starts to take you onto the hill. And there's a watercress meadow there. So many beautiful houses through this bit. Quaint thatched cottages. Yeah, Meon's a very nice area. So that was the village of Warmford. Very quaint. Yeah, that's so cool. Someone's got a big bit of slate there and made it into a shark. And you've got a boat that's obviously been sunk by it. Love sense of humour like that, it's awesome. So the blacksmiths that work at that place I just showed you then actually came out and asked if we were doing the South Downs Way. And I said no, we have done the South Downs Way, and this part in particular. But he said the road up there is very dangerous, and said to come through his farm and up, and takes you straight up to Beacon Hill, so it cuts a bit of the corner off, obviously a lot safer as well. So that was really nice of him. The views are starting to get nice now too. Yeah, so this is the Monarchs Way we're on now, and I think I mentioned earlier, it's actually a 625-mile route from Worcestershire down to Kent, and it was named the Monarchs Way because King Charles II fled after defeat to Cromwell, and it took the 21-year-old 6 weeks to walk the 625 miles, hotly pursued by parliamentary troops. So there's a trail with a bit of history. Those red kite back there are absolutely beautiful. I think they must have been a mating pair. Very rarely see them together like that. At one time they were right down on the floor by us. I couldn't get the camera out quick enough. But beautiful, chattering to each other. Yeah, definitely got a bit breezier since we've come up onto the open downlands. So it's actually about 2 degrees, but with the wind chill, saying on the app it's about -6. And I must admit, it's pretty cutting, that wind. you're not allowed to go into the woodland on this part because there's ash die back. Apparently there's a fungus called chalera, and it's killing all the ash trees. So they're cutting back a lot of the dying wood. Hopefully let the forest replenish new stock maybe. So at this point here, the Monarchs Way intersects with the South Downs Way, and through this gate here, then you start heading up towards Beacon Hill. But first, all the way on the left-hand side here, as we walk through, is Beeches, it's called. It's a big beech plantation. And, so the Beacon Beeches are about 3.5 miles into the walk, and not far from here, just up a tiny bit, is the summit of Beacon Hill. There's quite a few Beacon Hills between London and the south coast, sort of Southampton, Portsmouth area, and these were used before the telegram and telephone were invented to send messages or signals down from London to the south coast. Especially being the south coast, especially Portsmouth, a big naval hub throughout the centuries. So yeah, they were like fires to communicate different things. During the late Queen's Jubilee, the beacons were actually lit on all the hills. It was quite a sight to see. So this is the top of Beacon Hill, and this is the trig point. These were put in place by the Ordnance Survey to be able to measure height of things and distances between hills so that they could map the land. You'll see these up and down the country. So as you can see, that's the trig point behind me there. You carry on the South Downs Way and start heading over towards Old Winchester Hill. I want to get the drone up, but there's so many red kites out today. Don't think it's going to be possible. Don't. So the little acorn is a national trail of the South Downs Way. That's the icon they use. So all the way along the South Downs Way, which I don't know if I mentioned earlier, runs from Winchester to Eastbourne. It's 100 miles, and it goes right the way across the South Downs. You come to a very short little road walk, and then you come back through this gate, back onto the South Downs Way again. And there behind me, you can see one of the beacons that are lit, hence Beacon Hill. So the sign reads here, Exton Beacon, in commemoration of Queen Elizabeth II Diamond Jubilee. Mad to think that back in the day, that was what they used for communication. When things have come so far now, and in all corners of the earth, no matter where you are, you get Wi-Fi. Quite incredible, really. You walk down this grassy trail, which actually leads you down into Exton. Beautiful little village. And an excellent little pub there called the Shoe Inn. They do a banging sandwich and a lovely pint, as we found on our South Downs Way walk from Winchester to Butser Hill. Talking of that video, if you haven't seen that one, excellent wild camping spot as well. I'll leave the link up here for you to watch it. Much warmer, sunny conditions, heat wave. So after coming off the grassy bank, you just walk diagonally across 3 farm fields, and the pathway is very obvious. During the summer months, these crops are quite high either side of the pathway. Looks like that scene from The Gladiator, as they're walking down the hill towards the house, and there's no house. So this is the little village of Exton. We're going to carry on this way today. Just down there you can see there's a pink building, that's the pub called the Shoe Inn. Really nice place to stop if you're doing the South Downs way. They've got a beautiful river that runs through. Nice place to take your shoes off and dump your feet, give them a rest, and they do a banging sandwich and beer in there. Plus other food obviously, but it's beautiful along here. Water there is so clear. That's the main Meon River, and waterbeds. Runs for miles, that river, but it's just so clean. It's nice to see. So yeah, once you cross that main road, come across the bridge with the river, start walking along this dirt track, right the way off into the distance, see the beautiful farmers' fields. Starting to get a bit muddy here now. Not quite sure where all this water's come from. We haven't had much rain down south for a long time. The pathway's basically a river. So although my Vivo Barefoots are waterproof, they're only the low ones, not the full boot, and that came straight over the top, so now I've got wet feet. Never mind, all part of the fun. They're soon dry, won't they? I think Kate got away with it. She's got the higher ones. Knew that was the right way to go. Look at this beast. It's massive. One of the biggest cows I've ever seen, I think. It's a whole field full of them. Yeah, the one thing I will say about these trackers, particularly the Forest Michelin soles, they're really great in the mud. I've got some Sauer Apache winter boots, but they're absolutely useless in the mud. You just find yourself slip sliding all over the place. Although they keep your feet warm and great in the mountains for grip, no good on mud. Today they would have been a nightmare. This lovely old tunnel behind us. So after coming through the absolute bogfest, you're back on the Meon Valley Trail. This is part of the South Downs National Park and takes us up to Old Winchester Hill. So let's crack on. Keep following this pathway. Takes you up to Old Winchester Hill. Yes, now you can see the route that we've just done. Off in the distance there, you can see Beacon Hill. Just at the foot there, through the trees, is Exton. We've come across the river, out here to this far boundary, back along this pathway here, and now we're heading up to Old Winchester Hill. It's quite steep, this part of the walk. Last time we walked it, we had 15-kilogram backpacks on because we were wild camping the South Downs Way. And it was 27 degrees. We literally got to the top, it was about 6 o'clock in the evening. Got to the top and thought, no, that's enough. And we wild camped up here. Absolutely brilliant little spot. Really secluded. So many people walked past us and didn't even know we were there. This memorial says, on the night of the 4th of April 1944, during rehearsals prior to D-Day and subsequent airborne assault operations in Europe, a Sterling aircraft and its towed Horsa glider crashed, killing 33 soldiers and aircrew on board. The aircraft were approaching from the east. It was extremely dark with low cloud. It's thought that one of the aircraft struck a tree somewhere to the east of Warnford Park. This led to a catastrophic sequence of events, with the Horsa crashing in Warnford Park and the Sterling also crashing near Romsey. There's actually quite a few of these wartime crash sites on a lot of the downs in the south coast. There's one over Harting Down. There's also one up near Butser Hill. Just behind me there, you can see Old Winchester Hill. That's where we're heading. So we come to the point where the Monarchs Way and South Downs Way both come to a head. We want to stay right and stay on the South Downs Way, which takes you up to Old Winchester Hill. Then we retrace our steps and pick up the Monarchs Way, which is literally just the other side of these trees. The Monarchs Way carries on back down to Meon. Doesn't actually go up to Old Winchester Hill. So, yeah. Little detour off to the top, and then we'll be coming back down, heading off on the Monarchs Way again. Yeah, it's worth mentioning, although we did camp here, you're not really supposed to camp anywhere along the South Downs Way, but many people do. Just do it in a responsible way. So on the edges and the sides of Old Winchester Hill, it's covered in yew trees. Holds a lot of similarities to Kingley Vale in more than one way. As we approach the top here, you'll be able to see that, like Kingley Vale, there's Iron Age barrows, burial sites on the top. I think throughout the whole of Old Winchester Hill, there are 11 in total. 3 main ones are on the top. Also, like Kingley Vale, it was used in the 1940s during preparation for the war as a mortar practice site. So many areas on the flanks of the hill are still cordoned off due to unexploded ordnance. So don't stray too far off the trail if you come up here for an explore. Everything on the top has obviously been cleared. So this is a trig point at the top of Old Winchester Hill. It's 646 feet or 197 metres from sea level. And ordinarily, you'd be able to see right the way over to Chichester, out over to Southampton Water and Fawley Power Plant, over to the Isle of Wight, and over in this direction, you can see Winchester, which is its namesake. Yes, there's 3 main barrows on the top here, which have all been excavated. I don't think anything of any real value was found here, although probably some interesting archives. And right off over there in the distance is Winchester. Although this is Old Winchester Hill, we're actually 11 miles from Winchester. Winchester was once the capital of England back in the Saxon times, but most of the city as we know it now was actually built by the Romans. As the Saxons fell, the Romans moved in there, and they're the ones that built the wall around Winchester and created a lot of their road and walkway systems in the grid-like pattern that the Romans are known for. You could understand why the Iron Age fort was up here, because you could see friends and foe from such a distance, from pretty much 280-degree view. Anyway, it's absolutely freezing up here. I just took my gloves off to fly the drone. I feel like my fingers are going to fall off. So we're going to start, basically we retrace our steps back down to the Monarchs Way, which is only a 5-minute walk back down. We'll be heading off back towards West Meon, along the Meon Trail and the Monarchs Way. I'll catch up with you back down at the Monarchs Way. Old Winchester Hill is now looked after by Natural England, and they do a fantastic job of caring, keeping all the brambles and scrubs at bay. Very often you'll see Herdwick sheep up there, nibbling away, keeping things nice and short. But yeah, they do a great job of keeping it maintained. And now we're back at this sign again, which is signposted Monarchs Way, and you head down here. Let's go. So as you come past this big farm building there, it looks like it wants to take you the route down into this farm here, which when we've done this walk before, we did. But actually, if you just come, you can't actually see it, but as you walk along here, just there is the correct footpath. So keep an eye out for that bit. After a short little road walk, you cut back in and start to pick up on the Meon Valley Trail. Some absolutely massive houses along here. They're incredible. So the Meon Valley Trail is actually an old railway line. It used to run between Alton and Fareham. So, as you can imagine, it's pretty flat and pretty straight. But I believe it's a really nice walk. It runs for 11 miles. Maybe it's one we'll have to do. So you can see here, this used to be the West Meon train platform on the Meon Valley train line. It's cool when you see old things like that. Only about half a mile now from being back to the car. Been a really lovely walk. This one comes in at 10 miles. I'll leave a link to this down in the description, so if you fancy doing this walk, you could follow it. Also, it's worth mentioning, if you want to do this walk and you didn't want to go up to Old Winchester Hill, just do Beacon Hill and then come back into Meon, you can pick up the West Meon Trail much sooner and just walk straight through. But I'd recommend going up to Old Winchester Hill if you haven't done it. So yeah, I think we'll leave the walk here. Hope you've enjoyed this one. We have. It's been excellent. Varied terrain. Not quite sure where all that water came from earlier, since we haven't had a lot of rain of recent. Bit of a mystery that. But yeah, we'll catch you on another walk soon. Stay safe out there. And from both of us, we'll see you later. Bye now. Us again. Also, if you've enjoyed the video, please give it a big thumbs up and consider subscribing to see more of our outings. It really does help with the YouTube algorithm. Just that simple little like. It costs nothing but means a lot to us. So anyway, we are going now. See you later. Bye.